However, if I'm on trend and I slept 5 hours, that's a miracle night. So I often would sleep 2 and 5 hours a night was the average. And even when I was natural,
One thing I had a question about, it was sort of like about your productivity and stuff. Like, how much do you sleep per night? Is there like a cutoff you need to get to be productive the next day before like things fall apart? And do you adhere to that like like militant, or is it like sometimes you get like 4 hours, sometimes you get 8, or like how's your like what's your sort of like, I don't know if you could do like a day in the life like breakdown of like I sleep this much and I wake up at this time. Like how strict is that day-to-day schedule, and like what does it
I
break
would
down like?
say 13 days out of 14, I sleep between 6 and 7.5 hours. And then there's like one night where it's like a party night where I'm going out with my friends and whatnot, and I'm sleeping like shit. Like maybe it's 5 hours. So when I was younger, it would have been a lot worse. And when I was in university studying, sometimes it was 3 hours, but now I just need that sleep. And it's usually 2 hours less than whatever Allie's getting. So like Allie's probably still asleep right now. So
Yeah.
like she sleeps, she needs way more sleep than me. And so you can just see the difference in different people. Like we'll go out on a Saturday night and I'm up at like 9 o'clock and I'm filming videos. And I mean, we're like drinking or whatever. And I'm up and I'm still working. And she's like 3 in the afternoon and she's finally rolling out of bed, hungover. And I'm like, man, how do you do it? How do you sleep that well? So I can't sleep that much, but I find if I average 7 hours sleep, I find that I'm doing really well. Like I don't need more than that. So between 6, 7.5 hours, that's almost every day what I'm going to get. I would say excessively rare that I would sleep 8 hours.
And like on an average day, so you sleep 7 hours, you wake up at like, is this like
Seven
your
o'clock
average?
a.m. is almost my everyday wake up time, between 7 and like 7:15, except
And then
for like on the weekend, it might be like 8 or something.
And do you like literally have your day mapped out to the hour of what you're gonna do, or do you just kind of like go and if you have time
No,
for videos, you do that and you do this,
I
or?
like it's on a whim every day. Like I get up and I have like a cook that comes every day that wakes up and like has the coffee ready and makes breakfast. So I don't do that anymore, and like helps with animals. We got like 14 animals in the house right now. So that's every morning. And I literally like put my laptop in front, or when I watch videos, sometimes I'll check out your video, I'll watch comments on it, and I'm prepping content. I have a bunch of suggested videos that I do. So there might be like 5 videos and I'm like watching the videos, like, okay, get on the phone with my brother, probably an hour a day that I'm talking with my brother, Steve, call him editor Steve. We plan out different videos. Do you think this is good? Whatever, comments, watching videos. And then I just do that. And then I'll enter some kind of bike race most days of the week. I'll go to the gym 4 days a week. And then Allie gets home like in mid-afternoon, usually from working. She owns a pet store, Pet Value. And then usually in the hot tub at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night for like a couple hours a night. And then I try not to be on my phone most of the time during that and try to actually watch what we're watching. And then I'm in the shower and I got my video and I'm showering, I'm watching the video. So it's an all day thing. Even during a bike race, I'm often like texting people. Like if it's a downhill, I'm like, okay, I can talk right now. My heart rate's a bit lower. So it's pretty steady. And at the gym, I mean, I live on my phone. There's no like I'm on my phone more in the gym than in the whole day. So I just do my set and it's the phone. And I listen to videos while working out. So
Wow.
so I kill two birds with one stone. So that's a typical day for me.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, I was always curious how much you slept to maintain that rigorous.
Do you sleep more than that? 7 hours ish, I would say average.
Yeah, 7 is probably average, even though like I'd like to get 8. And I use this thing called an aura ring, and it like tells you what your sleep quality is like. And I know even though I'm in bed for 8, I'm really only getting like 7 to 7.5 at best. So it's almost like I feel like like giving myself cancer when I'm in bed for 7, because it's like with this thing, it's like, well, you only slept for 6, you know? So I don't know, like I would like to dial that in a bit more, but at the same time, it's like it's just, I don't know if it's sustainable to do like my work schedule and like do that too. Like I find my bare minimum is 7 where my mind still works well, and I don't necessarily think it works better at 8. So I'm kind of like 7 is like good.
I can tell you that I think today, because we started the video, like I woke up at 5:15 to do this like earlier for me. This is the first time I've set the alarm since the Cove. So in a year, I think the only time I set an alarm is when I have to go to the airport to travel. So I just sleep as long as I can every single day, and that's what happens. So like, there's no like waking up, like you're saying, you try to sleep 8. I sleep as long as I can sleep. That's what allows me. And that's good. So I'm sure I'm sleeping enough because I'm sleeping as much as I can handle. However, if I'm on trend and I slept 5 hours, that's a miracle night. So I often would sleep 2 and 5 hours a night was the average. And even when I was natural, 3 to 5 hours a night. When I was natural, I did 42 drug tested, whatever shows natural, no gear. I couldn't sleep. Even when I was natural, I couldn't sleep. It'd be like 4 in the morning. I'm like, I may as well get up and do cardio. I can't, like, you just can't sleep. You're just hungry and that's it. So sleep for me has been such a nightmare in contest prep. And everyone knows, like, if you follow Ali's channel, like Ali's on Instagram, every single day there's a picture of me asleep somewhere in the afternoon. I have like narcolepsy, like just 1 point from having it like diagnosed type thing. Like the doctor's like, you don't want to have this diagnosis, you can't drive and stuff. So I'm like, okay, so but I can fall asleep anytime during the day, but yet I'm sleeping as much as I can during the night. Strange. I've used like modafinil during the daytime, which was great to help with like being awake and stuff, and I'd still eventually just fall asleep if I take it too many days in a row. My body just kind of get used to it, and then it doesn't really work that well.
Did you ever get a sleep apnea test to see if the narcolepsy?
I did that, and I had not many episodes during the night of problems, so I definitely didn't need the CPAP. It wasn't really that big of a problem. I don't have like the really thick neck. I'm not like the 230-pound bodybuilder type thing. So,
I don't either though, but I have like severe sleep apnea. Really
okay.
bad.
Yeah. So you have to sleep with a mask, or?
Yeah, it's in my nose. I used to use the face one, but the nose one I've gotten used to. But yeah, like if I didn't use that, they said I would have had like a stroke by now, pretty much. Yeah.
Jeez. And so how many years have you had that problem?
Well, it actually
life?
I think it was like brought on by bodybuilding and exacerbated because I noticed it gets far more severe the more weight you gain. So the first like dirty bulk I did on gear, I got to like, I don't know, I went from like 190 or 200 to like 255 in like 8 to 10 weeks or something.
Ooh.
And all of a sudden I noticed in university classes, I was just like, I couldn't sit for more than 5 minutes without falling asleep. And it would get to the point where I was like, even if I was driving, I would start dozing off. If I was in class, I would doze off. At a club, literally with music blasting, I would be asleep at the table. And I went and got a sleep test done. I was having like hundreds of episodes, like every however long, and like not breathing for multiple minutes at a time and then gasping for air. And it was like, it was so severe that it was like, get on a CPAP like right now. And losing weight helps a lot when you're lean. The leaner you are, the less severe it will be, but it's still there to the point where I need it regardless of how lean I get. And I think a lot of bodybuilders don't, I think a lot of bodybuilders that die from cardiovascular complications don't realize it's like, yeah, it's the gear. Yeah, it's because you weigh a lot, but it's also because you've been going to war in your sleep every night, not breathing. Like you literally will like starve your brain of oxygen and your blood pressure will go through the roof and you'll gasp for air. And if you don't have a significant other to tell you that you're like dying pretty much in your sleep, you'd be like, hey, like, why are you not breathing? You don't even realize it. You just wake up and you're like, wow, I slept like shit. You know, must be the trend. Well, maybe it is, but
right.
But you're also like, you just think your sleep quality is bad and you go around being tired all the time, but you don't realize you're actually like dying in your sleep every night. Yeah, it's crazy.
Wow. I mean, and you said you were 255. Is that the heaviest you've ever been? Because I did watch a video, you lost like 75 pounds. So were you a chubby kid? Were you lean? Like, what are your genetics like, you know, because obviously you're in good shape now.
My baseline genetics was